WWE NXT Takeover Chicago 2 and WWE Money in the Motherfucking Bank 2018 are this upcoming weekend, only on the WWE Network. I will be on Periscope for both events. NXT Takeover Chicago 2 is on Saturday, June 16th, the night before Father's Day 2018. It'll begin at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, 7 o'clock local Central Time, since they'll be in Chicago, Illinois. Should be a great event. Got 5 matches for TakeOver. That's pretty much been the norm as of lately for these TakeOver events. 4 to 5 matches, 2.5 hours. They let the matches play out. They give them a lot of time. I got some great matches for TakeOver on Saturday, and then on Sunday night, Father's Day 2018, June the 17th, I got 10 matches for Money in the Bank. Should be a great event as well. I got 2 Money in the Bank ladder matches, 1 men's, 1 women's. There was reports that there were going to be 3 Money in the Bank ladder matches this year, a men's, a women's, and a tag team. But the tag team kind of got squashed. They really never... they did do some promos for it, but they never really went forward with it after that. So maybe next year, the Royal Rumble next year is in Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona, home of the Arizona Diamondbacks. I'm actually watching a Diamondbacks game as I speak. The Pittsburgh Pirates are out there in Phoenix at Chase Field right now. This is the 3rd game of a 3-game set. But Money in the Bank, Royal Rumble, next year is at a baseball stadium. WrestleMania is always, seems like the past, I think I talked about it before on here, the past 12 years, going back to WrestleMania 23 in Detroit, Michigan, has been at a football stadium. So maybe next year they'll up the ante a little bit, maybe have Money in the Bank at a baseball stadium, just like the Royal Rumble will be next year, and then maybe have 3 Money in the Bank ladder matches, a men's, a women's, and a tag team. I would have really liked to see a tag team ladder match for a Money in the Bank contract this year, but as I said, they kind of squashed that this year, really didn't go forward with it after they did cut some promos for it. But today I'm going to be giving everybody my predictions for both NXT TakeOver Chicago 2 and Money in the Bank 2018. And yes, you do see behind me a Money in the Bank briefcase. But as I said in the update video a couple weeks ago, if you did see that, you know what I said. If you missed it though, I said yes, there is one behind me there, but that is not a real one. I said one was on the way, and as I said a little bit ago, this is a real Money in the Bank briefcase. It does have a contract inside, so right now I guess I am Mr. Money in the Bank. When will I cash in? I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see how the next year, starting on Sunday, goes in the WWE, and then I'll let everybody know, give you my thoughts and opinions on when, I would cash in. So I'll be holding on to this sucker for the next year, giving everybody prediction videos and review thoughts and opinions videos on every single WWE pay-per-view. So be sure to hit that subscribe button. Be sure to go over to Facebook as well, Twitter and Instagram. Links are in the description for every social media site for Across the Goal Line. You see it back there on the football helmet. As I said, links are in the description. Website as well, and as I said, I'll be on Periscope this weekend for both NXT Takeover Chicago 2 and Money in the Bank. So be sure to scroll down, click on every single link, go give Across the Goal Line a like and a follow. As I said, be sure to hit that subscribe button right here on YouTube to stay up to date and get those notifications whenever I publish a new video. But I'll be on Periscope, so go follow me on there as well. So I guess, let's get started. As I said, Takeover's on Saturday, June the 16th. I had to think about that for a second. My week has been messed up as of late. But 5 matches, as I said, for NXT Takeover Chicago 2. Last year's NXT Takeover Chicago, was the night before Backlash 2017. Backlash this year was actually the last pay-per-view for the WWE at the beginning of May. So the WWE's been off, and I've been off really from predicting and reviewing WWE pay-per-views since then, because there really hasn't been anything to talk about. And that'll happen with now, them going. The brand split happened almost 2 years ago now. We had a draft, had a couple superstar shakeups, but now all the pay-per-views are co-branded like they were before. They did run the little, I don't want to call it segment. They had a short run, I guess you could call it, with brand exclusive pay-per-views, but they really couldn't sell tickets with 2 pay-per-views a month. Yeah, it was good for the WWE Network. I'm sure they sold a lot of subscriptions to that. But ticket-wise, people aren't going to go out and spend however much money, say, if they do go to both pay-per-views, because everything's going to add up. The travel, your meals, so on and so forth. But last year's Takeover Chicago was right before Backlash. This year, right before Money in the Bank, we'll have Extreme Rules next month, the middle of July, in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, down at PPG Paints Arena in Pittsburgh, and then SummerSlam. So we are officially on the road to SummerSlam. We had WrestleMania, obviously, 2 months ago in New Orleans, Greatest Royal Rumble over in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. Backlash, as I said, last month, and we've been off for about 5 to 6 weeks up to this point. But we got Money in the Bank and NXT Takeover Chicago 2 this upcoming weekend, streaming on the WWE Network. And as I said, I'll be on Periscope, so be sure to go over to Periscope, give me a follow, so whenever I do go live for both of those events, you'll get a notification showing you that I'm live, and then you can, come join and watch me give you my live reactions of both of these events this upcoming weekend. So, as I said, without further ado, let's get started. 5 matches for NXT Takeover Chicago 2. I guess the first one I'll start with, I don't think a women's match is going to open the show, but Shayna Baszler is defending her title against Nikki Cross, a former member of Sanity who has yet to debut on the main roster after getting called up in the latest Superstar shakeup. But eventually they'll get called up. Reportedly, there was drawing a blank now that I'm starting to talk about it. A copyright issue with Sanity. I don't even think copyright issue would be the right term. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on this right now. Sorry for that, folks, but like I said, I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on that. It's pissing me off too. But Sanity has yet to debut on the main roster after getting called up in the Superstar Shakeup. If you do know, let me know down in the comments below. I know I'm gonna remember it here, hopefully soon, hopefully before the end of the show. If not, I'll just have to look it up, after I get done recording here. I'll put it in the description. How about that? I'll put it in the description. So just scroll down there. You'll see what I'm talking about once I type it in. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank right now. As I said, I've had one hell of a week, one long week right now, up to this point, and it's not even halfway over. And then, as I said, links to every social media site are down in the description below. So just scroll down, click on all those links, go follow. I don't think a women's match is going to open the show, but you know, NXT, they throw some curveballs every now and then. I wouldn't be surprised, but it's probably going to be the second match. But Shayna Baszler is defending her title against Nikki Cross. I think Baszler is going to be holding on to this title for a while. Now, Baszler has an MMA background, just like Ronda Rousey, who is going up against Nia Jax this Sunday at Money in the Bank for the Raw Women's Championship. And reportedly now, Ronda Rousey's contract, her deal with WWE, is only for 1 year. 1 year from the Royal Rumble this past year. So that would be from January to this upcoming January. So that rolls out WrestleMania 35, unless they extend it for a couple months, and they can do that. You know, there's reports out there that Rousey's going to be facing Charlotte at WrestleMania 35 next year in the main event. We'll have to see how that happens. That would be history for the WWE, because a women's match has never main evented WrestleMania. WrestleMania 33, the SmackDown Women's Championship match, when Alexa Bliss defended her title against Naomi, and pretty much every woman superstar on SmackDown at the time at WrestleMania there, that co-main evented. Naomi won. They were in Orlando for WrestleMania 33 that year. But if they want to have Shayna Baszler versus Ronda Rousey before Rousey leaves, if her contract is only for 1 year, like the reports say they are, you know, and half the time, you know, these reports are false. I'll believe it when I see it. That's how I am with things. You know, I can sit here and predict and, you know, bullshit about it all I want, but, and, you know, you can listen to it, and thank you for watching, but if they want to have Baszler versus Rousey sometime here in the near future, Baszler's going to have to drop that NXT title. I know Kevin Owens, he was the NXT champion when he did debut 3 years ago, back in May of 2015 against John Cena, but you know, that's the men. There are a lot of women in NXT that do deserve at least a chance, at least a match for the NXT Women's Championship. I don't know. I wouldn't say a lot of them deserve the title though. Yeah, I don't think. Other than Nikki Cross, maybe Lacey Evans, who, by the way, I saw all three of these women just about almost 2 months ago now. It was a couple weeks after WrestleMania this year. Those videos are actually right here on this YouTube channel. So go check that out. Just go to the wrestling/MMA playlist or the concerts/events playlist. And those videos will be in there. There's also WWE videos from the whole way back in December 2017, January 2018, March 2018, and April of 2018. But I think Baszler's going to retain, but if they do want to bring her up, have her go up against Rousey just for a little bit, maybe then have her go back down, to NXT. You know, maybe they do that. Nikki Cross does deserve a championship in the WWE, though. Obviously, the women don't have a tag team championship. There's been talks, mainly up on the main roster, for women's tag team championships. So, you know, maybe then she'll get a title. I think Baszler's going to retain now. We'll have to see what happens. As I said, I doubt this match is going to kick off the show. I would not be surprised though it's NXT. The match I do think that's going to kick off the show though, and it's probably going to steal the show, Velveteen Dream and Ricochet. These two have been going back and forth at each other. They actually, Andrade Cien Almas, this was his, whenever I went to an NXT house show almost 2 months ago, like I said, those videos are right here on YouTube. Almas tagged with, who'd Almas tag with? Dream, Velveteen Dream, and Ricochet tagged with Aleister Black. So, pretty much going back to right before WrestleMania, because these two were in that ladder match at NXT Takeover New Orleans for the first ever match for the North American Championship, which is currently held by Adam Cole, baby. And by the way, he's not even defending that title at this Takeover event, which I'm surprised about. The Undisputed Era does have a tag team match for the NXT Tag Team Championships, but Adam Cole, he's a North American champion. I thought they would have had a match at Takeover here. Obviously not. I know he's defending the title. They just had that download. They were over at that download festival in Europe. NXT was. He's defending. I don't remember who it is against, and I'm sorry about that as well. I'll have that in the description if I remember, along with why Sanity hasn't been brought up, and I'm still kicking myself because I can't remember that at the moment. It was at a Evolve event or something. Adam Cole was defending there, so maybe that's why he's not defending the North American Championship at TakeOver this Sunday. But Velveteen Dream, Ricochet, been going back and forth with each other for a little over 2 months now. Dream's obviously a heel, a damn good heel. Ricochet, one of the best wrestlers in the world. Dream, Patrick Clark, he was on Tough Enough a couple years ago, 3 years ago, back in 2015, summer 2015. He's really come a long way, I think, ever since getting an NXT contract after losing in Tough Enough. And then, the 3 years have, gone by. Like I said, I think he's gotten 10 times better. Some of the moves that he does, especially the one, the elbow he did off the ladder in that ladder match at TakeOver New Orleans the night before WrestleMania, that was awesome. He's putting it all out in the line, and he finally got people to say his damn name, and I'm so happy about that for him. But I think Ricochet is going to win, though. I could see a double count out as a finish, though, just to keep both of these guys, safe for the time being. But Ricochet's one of the best wrestlers in the world. He's one of the most liked wrestlers in the world as well. One of the most over wrestlers in NXT at the moment. So I think Ricochet is going to defeat Velveteen Dream. Just got done talking about the Undisputed Era. They have a tag team match for those NXT Tag Team Championships. Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong. Bobby Fish is still injured. He was injured back in the early part of the year. I think it was in Indianapolis when he got hurt. I believe it was in March sometime, middle of March, if I'm not mistaken. But then they already had NXT taped basically the whole way up until WrestleMania. So that's why he ended up not competing, because WWE finally came out and said, he's hurt. They were trying to keep it a secret, see if he was going to be healthy. But Roderick Strong joined the group at TakeOver New Orleans. That was a big shock to everybody. Probably not the biggest shock of the weekend, biggest surprise. Going back to WrestleMania 34 weekend, the biggest surprise for me was probably Nakamura turning heel on Styles and giving him a low blow, and he's been giving Styles low blows ever since. They have a last man standing match at Money in the Bank. I'll get to that here a little bit later on. But Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong, Undisputed Era, because Bobby Fish is hurt. Adam Cole is the North American champion, not defending at this TakeOver event, as I said, are going up against Oney Larkin and Danny Burch. Undisputed Era is obviously going to retain. I do not see Larkin and Burch picking up these titles against the Undisputed Era. Maybe after the Undisputed Era go up to the main roster, or even a better tag team than Larkin and Burch comes in to NXT, like War Machine, War Raiders. Maybe then you have Burch and Larkin win, but I doubt that, when that time comes as well. I think War Raiders, that's what they're calling them in NXT. They're not calling him War Machine because there was that MMA fighter who is in prison for the rest of his life for killing his wife or something. So I can understand why WWE wants to, part themselves from that. But Undisputed Era is going to retain. If they do lose these, War Raiders, War Machine would be a perfect option to drop the titles to. But when that time comes, we'll have to see what happens. But Undisputed Era, Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong will be retaining these titles. Maybe this match kicks off the show. I don't know. And then I'll do the singles match for the NXT Championship next. Aleister Black's defending against Lars Sullivan, who really is just a young Gene Snitsky, if you ask me. He's a weird, looking guy. Really doesn't really take care of himself, it seems like, just like Snitsky didn't. But obviously, Vince McMahon likes big, sweaty guys. At least that's what the story is. Triple H is obviously in charge of NXT, though. Maybe this is the next big guy to come out of NXT and have a successful career. I don't know, though. We'll have to see. I don't see Black losing the title, though. So Aleister Black's going to be retaining. I think he's going to have this title for a very long time, probably up until WrestleMania next year. And then, have him come up to the main roster. Maybe lose it to Adam Cole by that point. Adam Cole and the Undisputed Era would run NXT. I think by WrestleMania 35, though, the Undisputed Era would be deserving of getting a call-up. Hell, they're deserving of getting a call-up as I speak, But I do understand why they're in NXT. They're getting their feet wet in WWE. But Aleister Black, he'll defeat Lars Sullivan on Saturday night at NXT Takeover Chicago 2. And then we'll have a Chicago street fight match between two former best friends, former tag team partners, Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. Gargano won the main event at Takeover New Orleans between him and Ciampa. The match, people are saying that, one of the best matches of the year so far, and I agree with them on that, but a lot of people are also saying it's going to be match of the year when 2018 is said and done. I don't know about that because, it's the middle of June right now. We have had some good matches, including the ladder match at Takeover New Orleans as well that kicked off the show for the North American Championship, which was won by Adam Cole, baby, as I said. But we still got 6 months till the end of the year, so we're going to be getting a lot of. We're obviously getting a lot more matches on both Raw, SmackDown, NXT, 205 Live, all the pay-per-views. So, there's going to be at least probably 10, 15 more good matches. And then probably 5 or 8 of those will probably be great. So come the end of the year, we'll have to see when the year's all said and done on what really how that match at Takeover New Orleans, settles in and how do I want to describe it? How it fits in, how it fits in with everything from the whole year. First 6 months of the year, probably the best match of 2018. First 6 months of the year, but they're having a rematch. Ciampa, he's really been working the knee ever since. Obviously he came back from an ACL injury, so he was injured, but he's really been working the knee as of late, really selling it really well, if you ask me. I think it's a street fight. Last one, it was an unsanctioned match. Anything goes. Gargano won. I think Ciampa's going to win this one. It'll be tied then 1-1. And then we'll have a TakeOver event the night before SummerSlam again this year. TakeOver Brooklyn 4. And then I think they'll have the final match between the two of them. And then maybe one of them gets called up to the main roster. That one of the two would be Johnny Gargano, I think. Maybe they both stay in NXT, though. Maybe Gargano takes the NXT title off of Aleister Black, and Aleister Black comes up. There's a whole lot of options that they could do, just, revolving around both Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. But we'll have to see what happens. But I think Ciampa's going to win, then they'll have the third match at TakeOver Brooklyn 4 towards the end of August there. So that's a little recap of the past 3 months in the WWE, a little look to the future for NXT, and those are my predictions for NXT TakeOver Chicago 2, which is on Saturday night, and I'll be on Periscope again for that event. And I'll be on Periscope as well for Money in the Bank on Sunday night. So you'll be getting to see this pretty face a lot. Hopefully you're watching this, and then on Periscope this weekend. So be sure to tune in. Money in the Bank's on Sunday. Predictions for that are coming right after this. Be sure to go like Across the Goal Line on Facebook. Follow at ATGL16 on both Twitter and Instagram. Be sure to hit that subscribe button right here on YouTube to stay up to date. Go over to the website, check that out. Be sure to go over to Periscope. Give me a follow, as I said. Whenever I go live on Periscope, you'll get a notification. It'll automatically be shared to Facebook and Twitter as well. So if you're friends with me on Facebook, keep an eye out for that post. And then if you do follow me on Twitter, the link will be posted to my Twitter page. And my Twitter account, if you do not follow me, the link is in the description for that as well. It is at CoolHandLuke96. But Money in the Bank on Sunday, 10 matches, as I said. The first match I'll go with to start out on the kickoff show, pre-show, whatever the hell you want to call it. It was announced on SmackDown just a moment ago. The Bludgeon Brothers are going to be defending their SmackDown Live Tag Team Championships against the Good Brothers themselves. 2/3 of the club, Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows. I could see the club picking up this win and becoming SmackDown Live Tag Team Champions. Have AJ Styles retain the WWE Championship again over Shinsuke Nakamura. Excuse me. Then you have the club on SmackDown as a stable, as a great faction. We've seen what they can do together over in New Japan, and when both Styles and Gallows were in TNA, when Gallows was part of Aces and Eights, and Styles obviously as a singles competitor. But you have Styles retain, maybe. You have the Good Brothers pick up the SmackDown Live Tag Team Championships. Have all three of them be champions. I think SmackDown would be getting a lot more viewers, a lot more hardcore wrestling fans, more so than the average viewer. But with SmackDown moving to Fox in October of 2019, they got some time to figure some stuff out. I gotta figure some stuff out as well when I'll record for previewing and recapping, because what I do now, I wait for Raw and SmackDown to get over on the go-home shows before a pay-per-view. Then I record just so everything's finalized. Yes, sometimes they do, throw in another match or two for the pre-show kickoff show, like I said, whatever the hell you want to call it. And then I'll give a thoughts and opinions video reviewing the pay-per-view. But when SmackDown is going to be moving, and I'll wait till Raw and SmackDown get over for that on Monday and Tuesday night. But with SmackDown moving back to Friday night and it going to be live, I haven't decided what I'm going to do yet. I got till basically the end of September to figure something out. September of 2019, that is. So I got a little over a year and a half. just like the WWE has as well, just to try to figure something out with AJ Styles in the club. But the Bludgeon Brothers are probably going to retain, so I'm going to pick the Bludgeon Brothers to retain. I would not be surprised if Gallows and Anderson do pick up the SmackDown Live Tag Team Championship. So I would really like for that to happen. Really like AJ Styles to retain, and then all three of them be champions. As I said, you know, that has yet to happen in the WWE with the three of them. So we'll have to see what happens there. The next match I'll do. One of the ladder matches is going to kick off the show. The men's, it's either going to be in the middle of the show, I think, or at the very end, or the co-main event, or they could have a triple co-main event. So what I'm saying is, I think the women's ladder match for the second ever Money in the Bank ladder match for the women will kick off the show. I'll get to the competitors here in a second, but it's the Money in the Bank. The Money in the Bank ladder match for the men's is probably going to either be in the middle, as I said, or at the end, and then they have a triple co-main event, because you have a WWE Championship match, a last man standing match between AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura, and then you have a couple singles matches that really, with Roman Reigns being in the mix in the singles match against Jinder Mahal, and Daniel Bryan going up against Big Cass in a singles match. Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns easily can be in the championship picture on Raw and SmackDown, respectively. The thing with Brock Lesnar, he's obviously not defending at Money in the Bank. Who knows if he's going to defend at Extreme Rules? Probably not. The next time we'll see Lesnar is probably going to be at SummerSlam, and then hopefully dropping the title, maybe to whoever wins the men's ladder match. We'll have to see what they do, though, because they're probably going to put Roman, if they do have a triple co-main event, Roman in that third spot. I wouldn't be surprised if he's if he's the actual main event, though. Hell, I don't know why they would do that. They saw what happened at Backlash when Reigns was facing Samoa Joe. People were walking out, for God's sakes, and that was in the New York area, Newark, New Jersey, and Vince was supposedly really upset about that, because he considers New York as like his #1 market, because that's really where the wrestling started for the old WWF, and then the WWF, and now the WWE. Well, they'll probably put Roman and Jinder in that third spot, then the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, and then the last man standing match for the WWE Championship between AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura, if somebody from SmackDown, or hell, even somebody from Raw wins it and wants to cash in on Styles. They have said, though, if you're from Raw, you have to cash in on the Raw champion, which would be Brock Lesnar, the Universal Champion. If you're from SmackDown, you win it, you got to cash in on the SmackDown champion, which would be AJ Styles, the current WWE Champion. He might lose that title to Shinsuke Nakamura then, and then say if Samoa Joe wins, he could cash in on Nakamura and win. There's all these possible outcomes for Money in the Bank on Sunday. But the next match, as I said, I'll get to. I think it's going to kick off the show. It's the second ever women's Money in the Bank ladder match, and those competitors that I told you to hold on there a moment ago are Ember Moon, who I think has probably the best chance to win. Hot, up-and-coming female on the Raw side. Saw her back in December at an NXT live event. Those videos, as I said, are right here on this YouTube channel, so go check those out. Charlotte Flair, Ric Flair's daughter, on SmackDown is in it. Alexa Bliss from Monday Night Raw. Becky Lynch from SmackDown Live as well. Natalya, who as of now, has the best odds to win. I think Ember Moon has the best chance to win, in my opinion, at the moment. Natalya could be going into a feud with Ronda Rousey, though. Rousey's in that Raw Women's Championship match against Nia Jax, so they say they have Natalya win the women's briefcase, have Rousey defeat Nia Jax, and then have Natalya cash in on Rousey right away. You got your feud till at least SummerSlam, potentially to Survivor Series, with the two of them. They've teased they're calling them best friends. Obviously, yeah, everybody gets along with each other, but they've teased them, you know, being real close, coming together, and working with each other. But I could see them doing this, having, as I just stated, having Natalya win the briefcase, Rousey winning the Raw Women's Championship, and then Natalya cashing in, and like I said, then you got your feud for between the two of them for the next 6 months at least. Well, 6 months at the latest, if that makes any sense. Because then by that point, end of January we'll be here, and then you'll have the Royal Rumble, and then we'd be on the road to WrestleMania 35. And if Rousey's contract is only a year, she's obviously done then by that point. But like I said earlier, they can extend that contract for a couple more months. So maybe we still will get the main event, potentially the first ever women's main event at WrestleMania 35 between Charlotte and Ronda Rousey. But Lana's also in this match, Naomi and Sasha Banks. I don't think they're gonna put the title on Rusev. I would like to see it on Rusev, but I don't think they will. I don't think they have the balls to go through with it. I don't think, because of that, I don't think they're gonna have Lana win the women's. If they did do that, though, Rusev and Lana would be the first ever men and women's couple as Money in the Bank winners at the same time. Naomi, you know, she's been champion before, maybe. Sasha been champion before, maybe. I think, obviously, as I said, Natalya, best odds. My favorite, though, is Ember Moon. I would also like to see Alexa Bliss win it, because then that, you know, puts her up against Rousey. Maybe if Rousey defeats Nia Jax. Nia Jax and Alexa Bliss have history with each other. They're best friends in real life as it is. It's hard to say. If I had to rank them 1, 2, 3, as I said, I think the woman who has the best chance at the moment, a couple days before Money in the Bank 2018, is Ember Moon, who just got called up from NXT right after WrestleMania this past year. Be Ember Moon, Natalya, and Ember Moon, Alexa Bliss, Natalya. But it's probably going to be opposite of that. It's probably going to be Natalya, Alexa Bliss, Ember Moon. So Natalya's probably going to win. I'm going to pick Ember Moon, though, to win the second ever women's Money in the Bank ladder match. I'll get to the men's last. The competitors in that are Braun Strowman, Finn Balor, The Miz, Bobby Roode, Rusev, as I said, Kevin Owens, Samoa Joe, and a member from the New Day, which, who's it going to be? That's the big question, and has been the big question for the past couple weeks. They've teased all three of them. Obviously one of the three, but they've teased all three of them to be in it. Maybe all three of them will be in it, and then we will have that'd be what, a 10-man men's ladder match. Hell, the men's and women's at this time ladder matches for Money in the Bank this year are 8 men and 8 women ladder matches for the first time ever. Normally it's 6 or 7. But with all the superstars they have on the roster, it does make sense to up the ante on that as well and put in a couple more superstars. But Braun Strowman from Raw, Finn Balor from Raw as well, Bobby Roode and Kevin Owens, all representing Raw for this men's Money in the Bank ladder match. The Miz, Rusev, Samoa Joe, and then a member from the New Day. So that's to be announced, are representing SmackDown. I'll get to that match here in a second. Let me know down in the comments below, though, who you think's going to win the men's and the women's ladder matches this Sunday at Money in the Bank. Just got done talking about the women's ladder match. I talked about Ronda Rousey there a little bit. She's going up against Nia Jax. Nia Jax is defending her title. This match came to be at a red carpet a couple weeks ago. They did show it. It was on a Monday, so they did show it that night on Raw then. Rousey walked right up to Nia, challenged her. Or, no, excuse me, it was the opposite of that. Nia Jax challenged Ronda Rousey, and Rousey was like, well, you know, I really haven't earned my spot yet. You know, there's all these other women on the roster. They deserve it more than me because I really haven't been here that long. But she ended up accepting it, and Rousey's going up against Nia Jax, and she's probably going to beat Nia Jax on Sunday because if her contract is only for 1 year, they got to really speed things up with her. So we'll have to see what happens there. But I think Rousey's going to defeat Nia Jax. And it's really hard to book Nia Jax, and I'm not being harsh or mean by any means, but it's hard to book a bigger person, especially for a woman when the rest of the women on both Raw and SmackDown are about the same size. And you know, like I said, I'm not being mean, harsh, not being sexist by any means, but it is hard to, in my opinion, it would be hard to book that. But Rousey's probably going to defeat Nia Jax. The other women's match on Sunday, Carmella is defending against Asuka. Asuka's probably, I mean, she lost her WrestleMania to Charlotte. She lost on SmackDown in a tag team match right after that as well. Carmella has been a very, very good champion as of late. After defeating Charlotte 2 nights after WrestleMania, after Charlotte defeated Asuka at WrestleMania, cashed in her women's Money in the Bank ladder briefcase from that ladder match last year, the first ever women's ladder match last year. As I said, this year is the second. And like I said, I think it's gonna be Natalya, Alexa, and Ember. The top three are my picks for the women. It's hard to say what they're gonna do though with Asuka because they had her lose. Will they have her keep losing? I don't know. It's hard to tell. I don't think they should by any means, but they probably will. And like I said, Carmella has been good as a champion. So I'm going to pick Carmella to win. How the match will end, I don't know. Maybe a count out, you know, because really that would still save Asuka just by a hair. But, you know, a save is a save. But Carmella, I think, is going to defeat Asuka. And then I'll get into the singles matches next. We do have a singles match for the Intercontinental Championship. I'll save that for the last of the 4 singles matches that I'm about ready to read off. Bobby Lashley and Sami Zayn. This feud has been awful. I don't even want to talk about it. I don't even want to pick a winner for this match, but I guess I have to. I'm going to pick Bobby Lashley, yes. I could really care less. Sami Zayn really hasn't been good lately. Kevin Owens is obviously, if you want to compare those two, Kevin Owens is by far better than Sami Zayn. Bobby Lashley, I don't even know why the hell they brought him back, but they did. He should go back to TNA along with EC3 down in NXT. I don't know, really, yeah, some fans like him, both of them, but I'm one of the fans that doesn't, and I think they should go back to TNA because I think they both suck. I thought Lashley sucked when he was in WWE before, and really, all he did, yeah, he was ECW champion, but really all he did and all he's been remembered for is for being in that billionaire versus billionaire hair match at WrestleMania 23 between him and Umaga, between Vince McMahon and now the 45th President of the United States of America, Donald J. Trump. Trump obviously won. Vince had to shave his head then. Bobby Lashley, he's just not that good. He's not that good. But I'm going to pick him to win against Sami Zayn. I could really care less what happens. The next match I'll do then, I'll do Roman and Jinder. I like Jinder. I think a lot of people do. He's good on the mic. He's a good wrestler. Roman, there's a lot of people that hate Roman. There's a lot of people that do like Roman, though. More so people hating him, but there are people out there that do like him, so they'll obviously be picking him. I'm not going to be picking him, though. Jinder's going to win. I think Jinder's going to win, but WWE's more than likely going to have Roman Reigns win once again, and then that will set up potentially a match at Extreme Rules, more than likely at SummerSlam, between him and Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship. And then maybe whoever wins this men's ladder match for the Money in the Bank briefcase cashes in on Roman then, and then we get a feud from there. Feud there between whoever. Roman gets screwed over once again. Fans go home happy, according to most people. But I'm going to pick Jinder, but Roman's probably going to win. The other singles match before that singles match between Seth Rollins and Elias for the Intercontinental Championship, which I think Elias should win. Seth Rollins is probably going to retain. I'll get to that here in a minute. But Daniel Bryan and Big Cass are having another singles match. These two had a singles match at Backlash. Cass tapped out to Bryan in the S-Lock. I think he's probably going to do the same again. It's hard to tell, though, because Bryan's contract is up September 1st. Also the day of All In 2018. Will Daniel Bryan be there? Will CM Punk be there? Hell, he just lost at UFC 225 against, oh God, I don't even know what the fuck his name is. But Mike Jackson, that's right. Now that I think about it. Mike Jackson, he got paid probably, I think it was like $200,000 or $300,000 less than Punk did. Punk looked awful in that fight too, by the way. But Mike Jackson, he was fired by the UFC after that fight because he really could have put Punk out in the middle of the second round, but he didn't. Punk ended up losing, though. He looked awful. I do understand he had his court case, his court hearing with his trial going up against the WWE, which he won, by the way. He beat the WWE. It seems like WWE cannot win court cases in the past 25 years. How they had to change their name because they were using a name used by somebody else. I'm not going to get into that today, but will Punk be at All In? I don't know. Probably. I doubt he'll wrestle. If he does, I'd be surprised. He's going to be going back to wrestling because he can't fight inside the octagon to save his fucking life. Like I said, he did look bad, but I would have thought, and I think a lot of people would think, can agree with me on this. I thought he was going to be a little bit better than what he was back in September of 16, but by any means, no, he wasn't. But Bryan's contract's coming up. Do they have him win again, put him in the WWE Championship picture on SmackDown? I don't know. They could have Cass win. Cass, the thing with him, yeah, he still has that Enzo thing on his shoulder. It seems like that's because that's what a lot of people know him by, along with Carmella. But Carmella is really, of the three, has been the best one on the main roster as of up to date. But the thing with Cass, he'll cut a good promo, but the next week it'll be awful. And he's done that, it seems like, every week for the past month. Ever since they had that first match there at Backlash a month ago. But Daniel Bryan, I think, is going to win. I would like to see him in the WWE Championship picture. I think a lot of people can agree with me on that as well. But will the WWE do that? I don't know. The reason why he's not in this ladder match is because they're scared of him getting hurt again, hurting his neck, and then him, potentially dying in the ring, because they don't want that to happen again. Look what happened to Eddie Guerrero, had a heart attack in the middle of the ring. But we'll have to see what happens. Daniel Bryan, though, I think will defeat Big Cass once again for the second time in 2 months. And then Seth Rollins and Elias, singles match for the Intercontinental Championship. I think Elias should win this, but he probably won't. They'll probably have Rollins retain, probably until Extreme Rules. Potentially, you could have a triple threat at SummerSlam between Rollins, Reigns, and Lesnar. Will they do that? Probably not. Like to see it happen. I'd like to see a Seth Rollins Brock Lesnar match more than a Roman Reigns Brock Lesnar match. Will they do that? Probably not, because that's the WWE for you. But life goes on one way or another. Rollins on Raw, other than Strowman. Who else is on Raw? Kevin Owens can be one of the faces of the company. On the Raw side, on the SmackDown side, AJ Styles for sure. That's not even close, if you ask me. But Rollins, he's been the face of the company before. I think he can be that again, moving into the future. So Rollins will defeat Elias. Elias might beat him on a Raw, might beat him at Extreme Rules. I would like to see a Rollins-Lesnar match at SummerSlam more so than a Reigns-Lesnar match, but like I said, we probably won't be getting that. Maybe Elias defeats Rollins at SummerSlam. It's hard to tell. I would really like to see Elias as IC champion, but we'll have to see what happens. I think that's everything, except for, got one more match before the men's ladder match, and that's the last man standing match for that WWE Championship between AJ Styles, the current champion, and Shinsuke Nakamura, the King of Strong Style. These two faced off at WrestleMania. Styles won. These two faced off at the Greatest Royal Rumble. Styles won. These two faced off at Backlash. Styles won. And then I did say in my thoughts and opinions video, the review of Backlash, that a last man standing match would be probably the next step in this feud. That's what they went with. Whether they listened to me and decided on it that way, I don't know. I doubt it. It's hard to tell if they did. Shinsuke should have won at WrestleMania. I said it before. I'll say it again. Because he didn't, though, Styles did deserve to win Shinsuke did deserve to win again at the Greatest Royal Rumble, but they're on foreign soil, so that's why Styles won again in that double countout. And then Styles deserved to win again at Backlash. Because obviously they didn't want Shinsuke as the champion at WrestleMania or the Greatest Royal Rumble, so a clear winner in Styles there at Backlash. Fourth match now in the past 2 months. between these two is this Sunday at Money in the Bank, last man standing match. I really want Shinsuke to be WWE champion. I don't think they think he's capable of being WWE champion though yet. I don't know why they wouldn't, because he's been NXT champion and he was a pretty damn NXT champion when he was. I'm gonna pick Styles though, because I think there's a good possibility the Good Brothers, Gallows and Anderson win. Then I would really like to see a reunion of the club as all champs. So Styles is going to retain. I did pick the Bludgeon Brothers earlier, but I would like to see the Good Brothers win the SmackDown Live Tag Team Championships at Money in the Bank on Sunday. Styles will retain. Shinsuke, I mean, you could have him, in a triple threat next month at Extreme Rules. Styles, Nakamura, and Samoa Joe. Maybe Rusev. More so Samoa Joe. I think he has a lot of history with both of these guys. Joe has history with Styles and TNA, and obviously with Nakamura down at NXT. But I think it's really going to depend moving forward with what they, with who wins the men's ladder match, whether it be somebody from Raw, because they'll have to cash in on Raw then, on the Raw champion, or if somebody from SmackDown wins. If somebody from SmackDown wins, they got to cash in on the SmackDown champion then. Kevin Owens should win on Sunday. Should. But I think, as I said, the three women I think will win. They're all from Raw. They might have a SmackDown woman win it though. I think one of the winners is going to be from Raw. The other will be from SmackDown. Men's, women's, I don't know. Kevin Owens should win the Money in the Bank ladder match this Sunday though. I think he would be excellent with that briefcase. I think you have him hold it for a while, probably until WrestleMania next year, maybe right before, right after. If you do have him win it though, please, I beg you, please, do not have him have a failed cash in like Baron Corbin did last year. And now Baron Corbin is the constable of Raw, and hell, he shaved his head. He has no hair anymore. He's gonna be the next Stone Cold and the next Kurt Angle for baldness. Not as, I don't think as good as those two, but please, I beg you, please do not have Kevin Owens have a failed cash in if you do have him win. That would be so devastating for his career. Samoa Joe, I think, should win as well. The person they're probably going to have win it though, as I said, the 8 competitors are Braun Strowman, Finn Balor, Bobby Roode, and Kevin Owens from Monday Night Raw, and The Miz, Rusev, Samoa Joe, and a member from the New Day. And who they're probably going to have win it is probably going to be somebody from the New Day, and that's going to be awful. I don't think Big E is ready to be a single star. There's so much more the New Day can do as a tag team. Yeah, it'd be awesome if they could, if one of them did win it and then they could freebird it. You don't know who's going to cash in. Keeps people on the edge of their seat week in and week out. That's probably what they'll do. There's probably also a good chance they'll have Braun Strowman win. Finn Balor also deserves it. Basically everybody in this match, in my opinion, except for a member of the New Day, deserve the Money in the Bank briefcase. I did say though, and I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to stick with my word. Stick with my prediction right after Backlash, and that's have The Miz win the Money in the Bank briefcase. Then You know, he can cash in on Styles. You get a feud there between the two of them. Throw some mojo in the mix as well. Keep Shinsuke in that feud as well. But you could have the Miz out of these 8. I think the Miz would be the one. He would be able to cash in on Monday Night Raw as well on the Universal Champion. And say you do get a Roman Reigns Brock Lesnar match at SummerSlam in the main event, more than likely going to happen. You have Reigns defeat Lesnar, then you have